Welcome back. HomeChoice's interim results have highlighted a strong performance with growth in operating profit driven by their fintech pivot. Joining me now with greater insight on the numbers is company CEO Sean Wibberly. Sean, thanks so much for joining us today. So your fintech division really the winner here. Just talk to us about how the growth on that front has boosted your overall bottom line.
Yes, thank you very much. The Weaver Fintech division has contributed 95% to the group profits, both this year and also last year. Very high growth in the business. We are booking over 100,000 customers a month now into the ecosystem. And that high growth has led to us being the driving force in the group in terms of where revenue and profit is coming from. The retail business a few years back had a very tough time in COVID and with load shedding and all the troubles that have been bedeviling the retail business. They've turned a corner now with their credit and are starting to get into growth in terms of their sales. But by far and away, the greatest driver coming from the fintech business.
So let's just hit pause a bit on the retail division, as I just want to zoom in more on that fintech unit. Now, looking at that division, you know, the financial services market is quite competitive. Talk to us about how the group is tackling that, considering that the group is emerging as a disruptor in the industry.
Yes, well, if you look at the product that's really appealing to customers in our ecosystem, it's the Pages Now's Buy Now, Pay Later product. So that was launched about 3.5 years ago when we acquired the company. And this allows consumers, especially constrained consumers at the point of sale, to split a retail purchase 3 ways. So if you buy something for 1,200 Rand, you pay 400 Rand at the till, and then 400 Rand in 2 more installments subsequently at no extra cost. So it becomes a very virally loved product. And in the constrained environment, it helps customers afford to make purchases. So that is what's been bringing in our customers into the system and really enabling us to disrupt the market, but also to bring in a lot of fintech digital customers into our ecosystem, which we can then look at to cross-sell our lending and insurance products and our fee-based products to grow the profit per customer.
And I know growth in that division, or the products in the division are, you're planning on launching further products within that division. I think there is a pay stretch now that is currently in the customer tasting phase. What makes that different from the other products that you currently have?
Well, that product, I'm very excited about taking into the market. We'll probably start scaling it early next year or later this year. It leverages the existing Pages Now footprint of merchants. We've got over 2,400 merchants. They're digitally integrated at their points of sale back into our Pages Now system, enabling customers to split payments in 3, the Buy Now, Pay Later product.
Yes.
With PayStretch, we'll allow customers to split their payments over 12 months and later on even 24 months as we bed down the product, which makes even larger ticket items affordable for customers at the point of sale. So we see that as being a well-loved and demanded product from our customer set, and it leverages our ecosystem infrastructure in order to layer on a product which we see customers are really going to love.
Clearly something that will help the consumer down the line. Now, the group has managed to do well in terms of collections. During the period, cash collections were up 32%. This, of course, despite the high cost of living. What does these numbers or the rate of collection say about the state of the South African consumer?
Well, look, the South African consumer is also our consumer, and people are feeling the pinch, right? There's no question about it. And the reason we have such high collections relative to our trade and the size of our books is that our term on most of our products is very short term. The Buy Now, Pay Later product is only 42 days on average. Our Maybe Money product is 3 months on average. We have a 6-month loan. Then we have a few longer term loans, 12, 24, and 36. But about half of our disbursements and another 1.5 billion of trade on the Buy Now, Pay Later products going to very short tenure loans or credit, which then comes back very quickly, which is high yielding and cash generative. And that enables us to quickly learn when customers are stressed and tighten our scorecards and make adjustments to our limits. helping us manage our credit through the cycle. So everyone's feeling the pinch. Our bad rates have gone up, because the market is tight, and we brought them down by tightening. We're not having to struggle to find consumers because of the high demand coming in for that product. So we can cherry pick consumers in order to offer them credit, even though that credit may be curtailed versus what we might have done in times when the credit cycle was more benign.
You know, you touched on something I wanted us to talk deeper about, that, the state of the South African consumer in this tough operating environment. Now, with taking everything that you've said into account, what does the outlook look like for the company?
So, it's very, very promising, right? So we're booking customers, as I said, at a very high rate. They're coming in at a low cost of acquisition because it's now a word-of-mouth product. We're not doing a lot of advertising to garner the demand. The customers are coming in because there are lots of merchants for them to purchase at. And the outlook for us is that we're going to continue this high growth of acquisition. And the real magic is going to be in getting better and better at cross-selling buy now, pay later customers into our margin insurance and lending products. And also the advent of the PayStretch product I mentioned earlier, which itself is both a payment product and a credit product. So I see us having a lot of runway and growth. And we have whilst we've got 1.8 million Pages Now customers, I think that could probably grow to 4 or 5 million in the coming years quite easily.
Sean, before I let you go, let's just touch on that retail business a bit. You did say that it is turning a corner. Would you say that the turnaround efforts are now starting to pay off?
Absolutely. If you look at their credit vintages, so that's what bedeviled the business for the last couple of years. They had to curtail sales in order to right-size the credit book. And you can see, and it takes a while to get a book to rehabilitate. That book has now got vintages smack bang in the middle of where their tolerances are. We don't want them to be too high because you're writing off too much, or too low because then you're saying goodbye to too many customers and retail demand. They're in that sweet spot now. And so they've come last year, their retail sales growth was negative. It's now just about 2%. And we think that's going to now grow off a nice credit foundation. So the team is now focused on sales, rolling out showrooms, focusing on digital, and then revamping their call center in terms of talk time and focus on scripts and so on to get sales momentum through. Plus, of course, the product is looking great.
Sean, thanks so much for your time and just taking us through the 6 months that was for HomeChoice. That was HomeChoice CEO Sean Wibberly.